some Tuesday night coverage of the NBA on 2K Sports. Great to have you with us. I'm Kevin Harlan alongside my partners Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. We have an interconference showdown here in Boston where the Celtics will square off. Looking at the starting five for the Phoenix Suns. Beasley and Score, they're the forwards. Dragic and Dudley are the backcourt tandem. And it's Gortat in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. And for the Celtics, Brandon Bass and Kevin Garnett, the duo inside. Bradley and Pierce fill out the wings. And it's Rondo in at the point guard position. It'll be the Celtics off the tip. And there's the feed to Pierce. From the arc. Rebounded by Dudley.
Well, last season for Paul Pierce, not as efficient as what we're used to seeing. Some of that is the injury to his foot that he had at the beginning of the season. He had to play his way into shape. But once he got clicking after the All-Star break, he was fantastic.
He kicks it to Bradley. Back to Pierce. Right side, Rondo. Nice ball movement by Boston. And Garnett misses. And for Paul Pierce, the strong second half of the season mirrored what the Celtics team did as a whole.
Well, they've been written off, Kevin, and that's a very prideful bunch with championship pedigree and Hall of Fame players. And a credit to the Celtics organization for being patient. Even though they didn't win it all, they deserved that chance to go for it.
Here's Bradley after Luis Scolas scored. Garnett kicks to Pierce. Rondo to the paint. Puts it up, and that one's good by Pierce.
If he gets a glimpse of an opening, he's going to take it right to the rim.
It was kind of a weird start to the playoffs last year for Boston. Rondo gets suspended early, but the Celtics were able to get past the Hawks as they matched up as the 4 and 5 seeds, and the Celtics actually did not have home court advantage in that series.
True, right. No good from Beasley.
You know, 9 times out of 10, he's going to knock that one down. He'll spray that one on you.
Bradley, Gortat covering. Rondo, off target from three-point range. The Suns have gone 2 of 3 here to start out the game. You know, Clark, you wonder how the Celtics would fare as an older team. Shortened season, the compacted window of games, so many games crammed into 1 week. You just weren't sure how much gas they had in the tank come playoff time, Steve, but as it showed, they won a couple series and made their way through.
Yeah, I thought it was really impressive for getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, taking Miami to 7 games. They had their chance, too, you know, up 3-2 in a home game, but LeBron and Miami were just too much.
Avery Bradley, coming out of high school, was considered an elite prospect, an All-American. He didn't really dominate in his only year at Texas and hurt his ankle prior to the 2011 draft workouts. That caused him to fall to the Celtics late in the first round.
And the Celtics really liked the athleticism and great perimeter defense they saw, Steve, in Bradley. People went on to say he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA.
No question, but what I like about him, Kevin, is that he improved his offensive game dramatically last season as well. He's a great weak side cutter. He really finds his way to the basket for easy layups, and his jump shot has improved as well.
Garnett dishes to Bradley. Buries the long-range jumper. The Suns have gone 3 of 5 shooting the ball so far. Here's Dudley, and that's good. And it's Dragic with the assist. Dragic has got 3 assists now in this one.
Well, Dudley brings so much to the team, Kevin, because of his ability to do a lot of different things. He's become an excellent spot-up shooter. He's also a great defender, and he anticipates plays. He can get offensive rebounds. Seems to be the first one to a loose ball every time down the floor.
Well, no doubt, you always have to be wary of a guy like Dudley because of that. It's more than just keeping an eye on him. You have to be in his shirt or he'll float out to where he can get open and knock down shots all game long. Boston making some changes. Sellinger's checked in for Garnett. Green comes in for Brandon Bass. And it's Terry in for Avery Bradley. And then for Phoenix, Channing Frye's checked in for Gortat. And it's Brown in for Luis Scola. There's a minute 47 left in the first. Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Hey, Kevin. Well, I had a chance to talk with head coach Alvin Gentry. When we talked about this game. He said his concern was how to handle Rajon Rondo. He said, listen, Rondo has no problem getting into the teeth of the defense and finding his open teammates. We need to make him a jump shooter. Let's see if they can do that, guys.
Thank you, Doris. Here's what Boston's going with right now. Bass comes in for Paul Pierce. And it's Lee in for Rajon Rondo. And then for Phoenix, Johnson comes in for Jared Dudley. And it's Telfair in for Goran Dragic.
You know, it's a little strange to not have the Suns in the playoffs for a consecutive year last year. They came close, but ended up finishing 3 games back of the 8th playoff spot.
Here's Brown after Jeff Green's bucket. Backing down is Beasley. And the Suns miss again. Celtics leading by 5. Guys, they've been getting it done.
They sure have been. I mean, really looking good and sharp offensively.
Yeah, knocking down the open shots and really getting a nice flow to their game.
Back to what you said about the Suns, this franchise has had such an easy time making the playoffs for the past couple decades that even 2 years with no playoffs seems like a drought for them. Steve, you know that firsthand. You were the general manager there at one time.
Yeah, it's been such a successful franchise over the last 40-plus years, Kevin, that it surprises you when they're not in the postseason. But, look, this is how the NBA works. It goes in cycles, and right now they're in a little bit of a down spell. You look at Jared Sullinger, 6'9", 280, probably a power forward at the NBA level. But what you like about him is the feel for the game, the rebounding ability, and the fact that he can play some 5 as well if you need him to.
Rajon Rondo is checked in for Boston. Luis Scola, he's checked in for the Suns. Dudley, no luck. About 7 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. And Pierce, here we go. Bradley. And Sullinger kicks to Pierce. Green, guarded by Fry. Lets it go with the 3. Rondo gets the bucket. Rondo's got 7 points in the game. Here's Dragic. He's covered by Rondo. Dragic gets the bucket. And here's Rondo. Outside, Pierce. Shoots the 3. And again, Boston with the triple. And we reached the end of the first quarter. Celtics lead by 9. And don't go away. 10. And welcome back. It's been all one-sided so far through the first quarter as our second quarter gets underway. And the Celtics, guys, what jumps out to you stats-wise?
And a good start for this club. I like the way they played together, really moved the ball and did a nice job offensively.
Yeah, excellent ball movement, and it's paid off on the scoreboard, too.
On the court right now, second quarter starting for the Suns. They've got Beasley. Round out there with Telfair.
Oh, ridiculous move. Pour it down that time. You know, the dunk was great, but I didn't care for that interior defense there, guys. It was non-existent.
You're right, Clark. You know, it was way too easy. I don't think the coach liked it either. Look at it. Look at that face. Uh-oh.
It doesn't get much easier than that. They have got to tighten up their defense. That was embarrassing.
And that last replay, courtesy of Sprite. Bass passes to Green over Johnson. And Jeff Green, the bucket on the assist by Bass. Here is Telfair. Pass to Johnson. And there's the pass to Brown. Over Lee. And it's Brown missing.
The defense got away with one there. I mean, usually he'll hurt you if you give him that kind of a shot.
You know, when the Celtics were at their best during this recent era, they were probably the best defensive club in the entire NBA. But the team has changed. They've gotten smaller. They may be a little better offensively, but they're not really the defensive force they were a few years ago.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Gentlemen, for the last 2 seasons, the Boston Celtics have been the worst offensive rebounding team in the league by percentage. They were 3rd worst in 2010. You might think it's by design, that they're more focused on transition defense, but according to Doc Rivers, that's not the case. That's been one of the biggest misunderstandings about our team. We've always told our bigs, if you're under the basket and we shoot, how about going to get it? Guys, the numbers don't lie.
Eldor's being a jump shooting team, probably less chances, but that's their identity. Well, you look at the stats, and the Celtics were still great as far as opposing field goal percentage goes. And, you know, Steve, you were just talking about defense, but as Steve was just saying, Clark, they looked different to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, a lot of it is that they had just such solid physical and mental fiber, and they just seemed to lose a bit of that edge. Still a very good defensive team, but hard to call them the best anymore.
Yeah, and their mental fabric remained intact.
Yes, it did.
Pierce, he's guarded by Dragic. Here's Garnett. Buries it from about 10 feet away. Garnett's got his first points of the night. Here's Dragic. Pierce covering. And Luis Scola, the bucket, and the assist by Dragic. Dragic has got 4 assists in the game. Celtics leading by 5.
Well, Dragic back with the Phoenix Suns, the team that originally drafted him. Hey, that was me, by the way. Anyway, he got traded to Houston, now back in Phoenix to replace Steve Nash. And it makes a lot of sense. Dragic has experience playing under Alvin Gentry, playing in Phoenix, very comfortable in this environment. And replacing Steve Nash will not be easy, but I think Dragic is probably more suited to do it than anybody else.
Austin making some changes. Sellinger's checked in for Bass. Avery Bradley comes in for Courtney Lee. Rajon Rondo is subbed in for Jeff Green. And the Suns making a change here as well. Channing Frye's checked in for Luis Scola. Here's Brown. And the Suns miss again.
For Dragic, that's no easy task. He won't outright replace Nash, but he is a very efficient point man and will help transition the Suns out of the Nash era.
Kevin, his defensive abilities really set him apart. I think he's one of the league's best defenders.
You know, the saying goes that great defense beats great offense, but great defense is more consistent. That shooting touch can come and go, but he's not going anywhere.
The Celtics making a switch here. Green's checked in. Here's Dragic. He's covered by Rondo. And it's Rajon Rondo with the foul. That is his first foul of the game. And the Suns making a change here. Beasley's checked in. About 3 minutes played so far in the second quarter. Dragic with it. He's picked up by Rondo. Clock at 6. Dragic kicks the fry. That's it, coming off an assist from Dragic.
Made that one look easy, didn't they?
Celtics leading by 7.
You know, it's been a steady downward turn for the Suns in the past few years, Kevin. What once was a team built around speed and several stars is now a bit of a potpourri of talent. I mean, you have to think they're on the verge of trying to rebuild things there.
The Suns have gotten just over 50% of their shots to drop here in the second quarter. They're 5 for 9. And Jared Sellinger picks up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. And some changes here for the Celtics. Kevin Garnett is checked in for Green. Lee comes in for Paul Pierce. And it's Terry in for Avery Bradley. And for the Suns, Wesley Johnson's checked in for Gortat. Brown comes in for Jared Dudley. And it's Telfair in for Goran Dragic. Back to the Suns. You'll have to find a player or two to build around. Steve, what are your thoughts as you extend the Suns from this point on?
Well, right now for the Suns, you know, they don't have too many young prospects, but they did a nice job in the draft the last couple of years. Kendall Marshall, new point guard. Also, the big guy Morris has looked like he's got a future with the club. So I think they're heading in the right direction at this point.
Beasley outside. Over Lee. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
Well, Michael Beasley was a power forward at the college level, but he's been a little bit of an in-betweener in the pros. Most teams have tried to play him at the small forward because he's got that shooting ability, but he has a hard time guarding other 3 men. So it's a little bit of a mismatch at both ends of the floor with Beasley.
Brandon Bass is checked in for the Celtics. Pierce comes in for Courtney Lee. Hits the bucket. 41 seconds left to play here in the half. Brown dishes to Telfair. There's the pick. Back to Brown. Kicks it to Johnson. Over Pierce. Here's Beasley, and the layup is good. Beasley's got 5 points now in the quarter.
Yeah, we're now starting to see them get some high percentage shots in the paint.
Yeah, that's 5 of their last 6 buckets inside the lane, so they're getting really high percentage looks down there. That's kind of a shocker. The defense was there, but it wasn't right in his face. Kind of out of character for him to miss those.
The kick out to Brown. Over Terry. No good trying to beat the buzzer. And so that's the end of the first half. Celtics out in front, up 7.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Glad you're with us for the nighttime edition of the Halftime Show. Out in Boston, the Celtics are taking care of business against Phoenix. One look at their field goal percentage says it all. They're scoring at will. Rajon Rondo making his presence felt early. He's got 7 points, and he's had some good court vision, helping out in the assist department as well. And the Suns keeping at it. Hard to find a lot to like about their performance so far. They'll need to pay much better attention in the second half to the details. The details. Shannon Brown has not had a good showing. Just can't get things to fall in the early parts of the game. He's shooting under 20%. Now let's get back over to Kevin Harlan and the rest of our crew as the second half gets underway.
Welcome back to Boston, Massachusetts. The skyscrapers all lit up overlooking downtown.
Well, just take a look at what Rondo's done tonight. 7 points, and he's done a good job distributing the ball as well.
Well, you can't discount what that's meant to this team. I mean, he's helped their cause with his passing, and it's really given his team a nice groove.
Suns trail by 7.
Boston is a team that fell from the elite of the East back to the middle of the pack last year. It wasn't because of their play at home, though, where they were still tough in front of the Celtics faithful.
Third quarter action getting rolling right now. Brought to you by Gatorade. All fueled up and ready to go. Here's who's on the floor. On the court for the Celtics, Bradley and Pierce fill out the wings. Bass and KG, the big ticket, patrol the inside. And it's Rondo in at the point guard. Here's Pierce. He lays it in. Pierce has got 8. And the Celtics really do seem to feed off the energy here in this arena. You see all the banners hanging above us. And, you know, Steve, you can't help but be inspired if you come here as a fan or if you play for him as a member of the team.
Yeah, no question. Boston is one of the great venues in the league because of the history of the Celtics franchise. And obviously, you know, that matters to Boston. And 24-9 at home last year, they were able to take advantage of that home court. That's why they were able to hold on to that division title.
And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Paul Pierce, so respected in the city of Boston. Celtics coach Doc Rivers said he had a chance to leave us when we were bad, and instead, he trusted that we would win a championship one day. I wish people talked about his loyalty more because I think that's special, especially in this day and age. Everybody jumps from team to team, and that's their right. But Paul Pierce decided he wanted to be a Celtic for life. In this day and this time, in any sport, that's special. Kevin, they love him in Beantown.
They definitely do. Thanks, Doris. Out of bounds, Phoenix will take possession.
You always want a player to have his head up and to be surveying the court, but not if that's going to be the result.
Suns trail by 9. Here's Gortat. Finds himself wide open and drills it. Gortat's got his second bucket of the night. Now a timeout called by Boston. And we're just about a minute and a half into the third quarter of basketball. Back to Rondo. Lays out. And stolen by Scola. Beasley outside. Gortat, the pass to Dragic. Beasley kicks to Dragic. Dishes to Scola. Feeds to Gortat. 14 feet away. The shot is off. And it's Boston the other way.
You know, Marcin Gortat has emerged into one of the best centers in the league. Back when he was in Orlando, he was in a backup role behind Dwight Howard. But now that he's in Phoenix, he's getting starters minutes, and he's made the most of it. Very, very productive play.
He dishes it to Beasley. Offensive rebound. Dudley. They shoot again. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
And the defense fouling there to prevent that layup, forcing 2 free throws here.
A nice job that time of attacking the paint and drawing the contact. They'll take that.
Phoenix making some changes. Channing Fries checked in for Scola. Johnson comes in for Michael Beasley. And it's Brown in for Jared Dudley. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. The Celtics have shot 4 of 7 as a team from the line tonight. Several misses early.
About a year ago, they converted about 78% of their free throws as a team, so pretty solid there.
And you know, a lot of times, guys, in some of their performances last year, their free throw numbers helped them win games.
Catching up on the changes for Phoenix. Luis Scola, he's checked in for Gortat. And it's Telfair in for Goran Dragic. Here's Brown. That falls. Great assist by Sebastian Telfair. Brown's got 5. Well, Clark, speaking of Gortat, he led the Suns last season in scoring. When you look at him as a scorer, what's his strength?
He can do a lot of stuff, Kevin. He's got good hands. He finishes around the goal with both hands. He can pick and roll, pick and pop. Nice mid-range touch. I like what he brings. When you're that big and have the skills he has, you can put up some good numbers, and he did.
And that one's good. And now it's only a 5-point Celtic lead.
And how much do you love to see the big fella knocking down that 3 there, guys?
Rondo dishes to Garnett. Pierce gets it to go. Pierce has got 6 in the quarter.
Boy, he's been so dependable here this game, really playing well offensively. Well, it hasn't been an easy fall from grace for the Suns. They were once the cream of the crop in the West. In fact, for about a 5 or 6 year stretch, they were near the top or at the top of that conference. But they've transitioned the last couple of years into a team that's kind of right on the bubble of making the playoffs year after year, and that's a tough position to be in.
Back to Rondo. Unloads, and it's Boston with another. Suns trail by 7. Got a piece of it. And here we go. Rondo heading to the hoop. Lays it in off the breakaway. Rondo's got 11 points.
They're just getting better offensively as the game goes along, making good choices and getting high percentage shots.
And they're playing hard and playing smart too, Steve. They've just been very, very good.
Been a little too easy for them inside, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, Steve. I mean, they've really dictated the action in the paint. That's been their focus, and the defense hasn't mounted much resistance at all.
And you hear the term bubble teams, and it really isn't where you want to be. They aren't getting high draft picks, but keep getting beat out for a playoff spot.
Yeah, that's kind of the no man's land zone, if you will. Suns have been trapped in that area for the last few years now. You have to think they'll start considering how they need to rebuild here soon.
Brown, good. 23 seconds left in the third quarter of the game. He feeds it to Garnett. Shoots. Misses the jumper. Now Telfair. And here's Fry for 3. The rebound by the Celtics. Pierce has got his 3rd rebound on the night. And here at the end of the third quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. Celtics lead by 10. We'll get right back to the action when we return. Fourth quarter getting going here. It's time for the Sprite Uncontainable Game. Doris Burke at the report. Hi, Doris.
Kevin, our Uncontainable Game Award goes to the Boston Celtics. They had a plan to get an edge in this one, and they executed it perfectly. Hard to see them giving this one away in the final period.
And thanks for that story, Doris. On the court now for the Suns getting going here in the fourth. Channing Frye and Marcin Gortat inside at the 4 and 5. Dudley is the 2 with Beasley playing the small forward, and it's Dragic in at the point. And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Jeff Green. That is his first foul of the game. Rajon Rondo is checked in for Courtney Lee. Dragic kicks to Dudley. Gortat. He passes to Beasley. 6 on the shot clock. The kick out to Scola. The baseline jumper goes down.
That jump shot's like a layup for him when the defense backs off like that.
Celtics leading by 10. Here's Sullinger. Tries again. Goes right up. And the layup falls.
Textbook offensive rebounding right there. I love that. Those putbacks are buckets any team loves to get.
And Jared Sullinger picks up the foul. That's foul number 2 for him. And some changes here for the Celtics. Garnett comes in for Sullinger. And it's Avery Bradley in for Rajon Rondo. And the Suns also making a change. Brown's checked in. Dragic with it. Guarded now by Jason Terry. On its way from Dudley for 2. It's rebounded by Kevin Garnett.
Another board for them, and they've got a huge advantage in that regard.
Yeah, it's not really a surprise. I mean, rebounding one of the true barometers in winning basketball games. And if you rebound better, you typically are going to win ball games and do it comfortably.
Back to Gortat. That's in coming off an assist from Dragic. Dragic has got his 7th assist here tonight. The Celtics have gone 3 of 5 here in the fourth quarter. Pretty good numbers coming out of the break. Bradley can't get it to go.
Yeah, trying to put a little mustard on the hot dog there. That was just convert the shot. Come on.
And it's Beasley finishing it off.
And the shootout continues.
Trading buckets both ways. I mean, offense definitely the focal point for these teams.
Garnett not wasting any time and taking the shot and knocking it down. Suns trail by 12. Timeout called, the Suns.
Since Boston's resurgence, they've always done a great job against the Western Conference. Having the depth and the talent they do gives you a chance to do that. But last year, it just wasn't the same.
The Celtics making a switch here. Rondo's checked in. Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Guys, over that last break, I listened in on Alvin Gentry's huddle. He told them that they simply have to step up, saying if we don't make a move now, it's going to be too late. Give them everything you've got. Kevin?
The Suns shooting an efficient 53% from the field. Yeah, Clark, you're right. They really struggled to get any real momentum when they faced off against the Western Conference. And then, Steve, they ended up with a 7-11 record against them.
Yeah, you know, really a far cry from how they had done up until that point. But losing some of the guys they did made it hard for them to play the type of defense that let them dominate the Western Conference the year before.
Look at that effort. Does he set a great example out there or what?
On plays like that, he does. Sure. What work on the offensive glass we see with him.
Yeah, that was awesome. Put back with the slam. Are you kidding me?
There's Garnett. Basket is good. The assist from Rondo. 8 points for Garnett.
He got that one, but he hasn't been producing the way we're accustomed to. He needs to look for a shot a bit more.
No good from Dragic. Celtics leading by 14. Garnett outside. From deep. No good. The Suns go the other way with it. Look at the clock. A little under 3.5 minutes gone here in the fourth. And that one is good by Beasley.
And you can just see what his offense means to this team. I mean, it's obvious. They really rely on him to score the basketball.
Time called here. The Celtics decide to talk it over. They're leading by 12. 1:35 left to play here in the fourth. Luis Scola, he's checked in for Shannon Brown. A three off the inbound. Again, Garnett missing.
Tell you, he had all the time in the world to get that shot off.
Here's Dragic. Terry covering. 18 feet out. And the basket by Scola. Scola's got 4 points this quarter.
We've seen some great shooting from him today. They've got to lean on him a little bit more.
Here's the pass to Garnett. Kept alive. With the lead pass. Here's Terry. And it's Phoenix with the rebound.
You'd expect him to nail that one being that close to the hoop.
Dragic kicks to Beasley. Over Terry. Here's Gortat. Goes back up. And it's good on the way in. They got on this roll a while ago, and they just haven't looked back.
Well, not only does he excel at getting those offensive rebounds, but he's really good at getting putbacks and layups off of those boards.
Fast break, here come the Suns. Here's Dudley. Passes it to Gortat. No good. Now Boston takes it the other way. They've led by as many as 14 points. Rondo kicks to Pierce. The three is launched. Rebounded by Dudley.
Even against solid defense, he's still going to try to continue to make that shot.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I wouldn't bet against him in that situation next time.
So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up. First free throw is good, and that narrows the gap to 7. Both free throws good from Dragic. And an intentional foul right there. 17 seconds left in the game. And they go to the intentional foul. And he doesn't get the first one to fall. He's able to hit the second one, and that makes it a 7-point lead. Timeout called, the Suns. They're losing by 7. 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Guys, what's your take?
Well, this one's out of reach, so I'm not sure why they're calling the timeout here. Maybe just to try to work on something, maybe an out-of-bounds play or something.
Well, they might as well talk about what movies they want to see or what they want to surf on the internet, because this one's done, boys.
And the shot is good.
That's exactly what they had in mind on that possession.
Here comes Rondo. And so they foul intentionally. Good on the first, and that increases their lead to 6. And the Suns making a change here. And so he drops them both. It's a 7-point game. And the Suns call time here. They're trailing by 7. 5 seconds left in the fourth. 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Here's Gortat, and that one drops. And so it's the Boston Celtics with the W. It was a solid win, Clark.
Yeah, it was, and I think it came down to will more than skill. They went out and got this one.
And that about wraps it up for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA presented by 2K Sports. And now, Jordan presents our player of the game, Paul Pierce.